The interesting thing about this caliper is that even though the carrier changes, the basic caliper kit is still available from VW. It's a 38 millimeter. This is your basic kit from VW. Hi, old guy here. I hope you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, I hope you would subscribe and give me a like. I'd appreciate it. Today we're talking about caliper repair kits. Have you ever bought a rebuilt caliper? Did it fail in a short time being on your car? It just stopped working properly? This seems to happen a lot. Happened to a couple of friends of mine. Do you know what company does the rebuilds? It's kind of hit and miss. I mean, even though you may have a brand name on a rebuild kit, did they really rebuild it? You don't know. Is there anyone you can call to ask? Not really. So maybe you should be rebuilding the caliper yourself. We're not going to rebuild the caliper today, but we're going to show you some kits that I picked up. There are several crucial areas on a brake caliper that are crucial to its being able to work properly. And if these aren't in working order, you could have a problem. And, you know, I mean, brakes are a critical part of a car. You got your wife, you got your kids, you got pedestrians you don't want to hit. So the critical areas on a caliper are the piston, the bore for the piston, the guide pins, if the brake caliper has guide pins, and the bores for the guide pin. What you should be asking yourself about a rebuilt caliper before you buy one. Do you know what those four critical areas on the caliper that they rebuilt, what did they look like before they rebuilt the caliper? Was the bore for the piston rusty? Was the piston itself rusty? Were the guide pins rusty? Were the bores for the guide pins rusty? Did the rebuilding company replace the piston, or did they just kind of clean it up? Well, if they left pits in that piston bore, it's not going to work properly. Just like the piston bore. If it had rust in it and they only cleaned it up, or maybe they honed it, but did the honing make the clearances a little bit looser? The same questions are relevant to the guide pins and the bores for the guide pin. Were those rusty? Was the bore rusty? How did they clean those? When they rebuilt the caliper, did they use assembly paste or did they just put it together dry? Personally, I don't know the answers to these questions, and if I don't know if there was anybody you could ask. If you have an older car, it gets a little bit harder to find rebuild kits for your caliper. Some of the kits that TRW used to sell for various calipers that they make, they no longer make those rebuild kits. Usually the kits consisted of piston boots and piston bores. They didn't include the guide pins, they didn't include the boots for the guide pins, the bolts for the guide pins, and you were never able to buy a piston to replace the piston if it was rusty in a caliper. So I went searching for a company where I could buy what I needed. Since I mostly own European cars, I started searching in Europe because my search in the United States was not very fruitful. This company I found called FRENKIT, they had basically everything I needed. But they don't just do European cars, they also have Japanese cars, Korean cars. They have cars, rebuild kits for cars you never heard of. Now, when you use FRENKIT, you use their European catalog because their United States catalog is minimal and really doesn't carry anything. After you find the caliper kit you need, you start searching for the best price because there's various prices you might be using. Spertu, Trodo, and there's other companies in Europe that carry this kit. You look for the best price, and you look for the best price plus shipping, because shipping has really become a factor these days when you get stuff from Europe. I mean, these kits weigh nothing. They've got rubber boots and a little box in it. You know, I mean, I ordered a bunch of kits and it probably weighed less than 2 kilograms. And the shipping was, for me, I felt pretty high. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. So we're going to go up to the bench and look at some of these kits I purchased for some of the calipers I have. Okay, what we have first here is, this is called a Girling G60. It happens to be a 2-piston caliper, all right, that's floating, all right, and this area here is the guide pins, rubber boots, and the nut that holds on the guide pins. Now this is the kit that TRW had for this particular calipers. Now TRW's kit came with enough for 2 calipers. So for 1 caliper, you would have this here, okay? 1 piston is larger than the other, all right? So you have the bore seal, and you have the boot for around the piston. It did not come with the pins. So if you wanted to get pins, you actually had to order another kit. They would come with pins. Or you could get a kit that came with new boots. As you can see, this one has a little hole in it. And it came with nuts. And then you reused your old pins, or you could get new pins. You can't buy this kit in the United States anymore. You might be able to get the pins and you might be able to get the boots, but I haven't really checked on that. This is the FRENKIT I was talking about that I got out of Europe. Now, it's only a rebuild kit for 1 caliper. So you actually have to buy 2, unlike the TRW that came with enough for 2. But this particular one, this is one variation of the kits they have. It comes with the piston seals, the bore seals, a newer style cap, and boots for the guide pins. Now that's not the only way you can buy these. This is all the kits you can buy for this particular caliper, okay? This is your basic kit up here. It just has the seals and the bleeder cap. Over here is the one I bought, the caliper repair kit. It comes with the boots for the guides. Now, you can also buy a guide pin kit. You can buy just the basic guide pin kit, which is just boots. Over here, you can buy a caliper repair kit, which comes with everything I showed you here on the bench. Plus, it comes with 2 new pistons. Or you can buy their super kit, okay, which come with guide pins in addition and the bolts for the guide pins, whereas the caliper repair kit with the piston up here doesn't. Or you can buy just the pistons. All right, so if one of your pistons was bad in this 2-piston caliper, you could buy a caliper repair kit and you could buy a piston or 2 to go with it. But if you need everything, you just buy the caliper repair kit with the piston. So this is just some of what they offer. I think there's one more kit that they offer. But this gives you an idea of what this company carries. So next up, we have, this is a rear caliper. It's a small rear caliper. It's a single piston. Okay, it's got the brake cable actuated system on it. It's not electric. Again, it's a floating caliper. So the guide pins, well, this is loose, but the guide pins, it makes it a floating caliper. Well, this doesn't float very well. It's tight. So that means the guide pins are probably stuck in the bore, and we're going to have to do something about that. But anyway, the interesting thing about this caliper is that even though the carrier changes, the basic caliper kit is still available from VW. It's a 38 millimeter. This is your basic kit from VW. Okay? It consists of some assembly paste, and it's a rebuild kit for 2 of them. So it's got a piston boot, a piston bore, two of them actually. Now, the only reason this particular kit is still available is because this particular caliper, now I'm not talking about the carrier, the guide pins, and the bolts. I'm just talking about the caliper itself. And maybe that caliper isn't exactly the same, but this kit works on a lot of different ones. Just to give you an idea, on Audis, this kit works on all these Audis. We're talking about going all the way back to Audi 5000s, 1984, 1988, all the way up to TTs, 2010, or A3s up to 2013. This kit works for all these. Now for VWs, there's even more. This kit right here works for all these cars. So there's like a gap in here. So it fit on the early ones, and then it fit on some of the later cars with a gap. This, like I said, is still available from VW. It's about $35. And that rebuilds you too, and you get some assembly lube with it. The one from FRENKIT, as it was before, it is a kit for one caliper. Okay, so we've got the bore seal, the piston boot, but this particular kit comes with those boots for this particular caliper and carrier. And this is something here that doesn't come on the VW kit, and it doesn't come on TRW kits or a lot of other kits. These are seals that are used in the brake arm mechanism and around the piston itself. Okay, on the back side of the piston, there's a gear. That's what these seals are for. All right, you can't find that on a TRW kit. So if you rebuilt this caliper, you couldn't rebuild the seal. There's a shaft in here, okay, behind this plate. And there's a seal around that shaft. You can't buy that seal anywhere except with FRENKIT or another company in Europe. So even though this comes as just one, you get more for it. Now, here again, I bought this kit up here, which comes with the seals and the boots. Or you can get this kit down here, which is a basic seal. I don't know if you can buy that or not because there's no price on it. You can buy the pin kit. You can buy the piston mechanism. That's the mechanism inside the piston, because remember, it's a little bit different than a front piston caliper. You have a caliper repair kit plus a new piston, or again, you have that super kit that comes with the caliper kit, with the boots, the pin guide, the mechanism, and the piston, and assembly lube, and it comes with a new bleeder, bolts, the whole bit. And you can rebuild the whole caliper. Now, granted, you could probably buy a rebuilt caliper for maybe around this price or a little bit, maybe $100. But like I mentioned before, you don't know what that caliper looked like before they rebuilt it. Okay, next up what we have here is, if you can see this, or you look at the previous video or the section of a video where we were doing this small rear caliper, this one's larger, okay? This is 43 millimeters versus 38. So the piston's a lot larger. The mechanism for the brake cable is a little bit different. But it's basically the same type of caliper, okay? This one doesn't want to move. Well, it moves a little bit. But anyway, this is off a larger rear car. This actually comes off a car that has a ventilated rear rotor. That's a 280 by 22, whereas that other previous caliper was a 245 by 12. This one's here is made by Lucas. It's an original. I didn't look for any TRW kits for this because I just went straight to FRENKIT. And here we have, again, it's pretty much the same as the smaller caliper. We have the bore, the piston, the bleeder cap, but then again, we have these same seals for this handbrake mechanism, okay? Like I was saying before, those were never ever available from either Audi or TRW. So this is kind of a bonus for me, I think. Now, this isn't the only, again, I bought the kit with the boots, but you don't have to buy it that way. Oh, I guess you do have to buy it that way. So this is basically all the kits they have. They got the caliper repair kit, like I just showed you. They have a pin kit, okay? They have a caliper repair kit with a piston. They have a caliper piston mechanism that fits inside that piston. And then again, they have the super kit, which contains all this stuff. Anyway, this is available. I mean, this makes it kind of easy when you go to find stuff. FRENKIT in Europe. Okay, so last but not least, we have a Porsche 996 or a Boxster S caliper. It's a 4-piston caliper. It's a monoblock. There's no bolts. The pistons are 2 different sizes. They're a 38 and a 40. 36 and a 40. So again, this kit comes just for one caliper. So you've got the 240s, the 236s, the 2 bores, the piston boots, the bore seals, and you've got 2 bleeder caps because Porsche bleeds both sides. But it's not the only thing they have. Now, one thing that I didn't find on their website, there's a pin that runs across here that holds on a spring plate that holds in the calipers. I mean, it holds in the pads. They didn't have that on their website and that I could find. The kit I got here is not just the only kit that is available. FRENKIT also has these other kits available for this particular Brembo caliper. It's got the standard caliper repair kit that I have here that I showed you. But it also has a caliper repair kit performance. This performance kit, this set consists of high temperature heat resistant silicone gray dust boots and high temperature pressure seals. Manufactured by FRENKIT Performance for most late model Brembo calipers. They're the perfect components for street or track oriented performance vehicles. So they make, that's pretty nice. They make upgraded seals in case, if you ever have your boots or seals, kind of melted on you, you might have to upgrade. Now, they don't have quite as many components here available because as a front caliper, it doesn't have, well, on this particular one, it doesn't have guide pins and boots and everything else. But it does have a caliper repair kit, and it comes with pistons. So if your pistons are bad, you can buy new pistons, and it comes with everything the caliper repair kit had, but it also has the pistons and the assembly loop. They also have the piston kit in performance. And now, if you need just a piston, because maybe one of your pistons is bad, you can actually buy a piston. So you can get the 36 and the 40 diameter. The interesting thing is that if you look at the prices here, the 36 millimeter one is almost twice as much money as the 40. Now, when you're looking for these kits, you can buy directly from FRENKIT, make up what you want, maybe go with some friends and get some kits together. That's what I did. But their shipping's kind of expensive. So when you're looking for something in Europe, you need to look at the shipping. A lot of these companies in Europe now are using FedEx, UPS, and DHL because, those companies come to your door, pick up your packages, and go. So these companies aren't using their local post office much. Of course, in Germany, Deutsche Post is owned by DHL now. But you look around and you try to find the cheapest component because, it's costing like $20 or more to ship this stuff. So anyway, you look for the best price for the kit plus shipping. You go all the way to checkout and see what it's going to cost you. Now, these are my thoughts as far as these kits go. They're fairly complete. They contain more than the old TRW kits did, and they don't quite contain everything for Brembo. They don't contain the pin or the plate that holds down the brake pads, but it's pretty complete. Anyway, this is what I did, and you don't have to.